Hi there, Karen Flaherty here from Living by Human Design. Hope you're doing well and hope you're staying centered and focused on what's important to you during these turbulent times. Today in Human Design Weather, we're going to be talking about the gate 63, which is usually called doubt and suspicion, and it's in the logical circuit. So it's actually very much in the narrative right now, right? So let's see what it has to say. Okay, so this week we've got the sun in gate 63, and it started late last night, just around midnight on March 1st, and will go until March 7th, midday. We've also got the earth in gate 64, which is called the gate of confusion. So they're both head gates. The 63 is right up here on the right side of the brain, but don't forget this is inverse, so it's actually left brain oriented. And then the 64 is right over here. And is called the gate of confusion. And so the doubt and suspicion gate is over here, part of the logical circuit, actually the very beginning of the logical circuit, and basically the start of the hypothetical process, right? So it's where we start by asking the questions, right? We have these doubts and suspicions that are outside of us, and why is this not working? Why is that not working? Why are we doing it this way? What's going on? All those questions that might occur start in the gate 63. On the other side, with the gate 64, we've got the more abstract questions. It's like, oh, why is this happening this way? Or why is this, 63 will say something like, what's wrong with the toaster? Or, why isn't my computer working? The 64 will say, oh, that's interesting. My computer's not working. I wonder what's going on, or something like that. It'll be a lot more abstract, and perhaps of course, it's the more creative side of the brain as well. It's interesting this week, we have no centers defined by any of the transits. So as you can see, it's basically all clear sailing this week. The head and ajna definition has gone away because the Mercury and Venus have moved out of 61 and into the gate 60. But what has happened this week is that Saturn has moved into the gate 49. And the gate 49 is the gate of, if you recall from previous sessions, is the gate of principles or revolution. And as you can tell, we're in the middle of a revolution between Ukraine and Russia. And it doesn't feel good to a lot of people. I heard someone last night say that while there are a lot of complex facts that go with this this incursion, this invasion of Ukraine, the morality of it is pretty clear, right? Or the morals, the right or wrong of it is pretty clear. And so that's why so many people are on the side of the Ukrainians, because it is an obvious overtaking of land that is not there, that doesn't belong to Russia. And so the morals are pretty clear. The Ukrainians are, certainly on the right side of their decision making, and the Russians are not. So, but we do have this gate of principles and revolution coming into Saturn, and so it'll be there for a while. And so we'll see what happens with that. So the sun is in the gate 63 and Earth in gate 64. As I said, the gate 63 is all about doubt and suspicion. It's called after completion or doubt in the original I Ching. And what they say is, in the spiral of life, all endings are beginnings. And so what's happening with the 63 and the 64, these are the last two gates of the I Ching. And so they are basically the epilogue or the completion, right? Or you would think they were the completion, but really it's a circle, right? This whole thing is a circle. And so as we get to the 63 and 64, we start all over again, right? And so it's a paradox in a way, Richard Rudd says, is that, as we're ending, we're also beginning something else. And so in the incarnation crosses, we got the crosses of consciousness, doubt, and dominion. The gate 64 is the gate of confusion, and we only call it confusion because it's in the while 63 is in the logical channel or logical circuit, 64 is in the abstract. So it's in the channel of abstraction. It's all about abstract thought and creativity and bringing information in, basically, from other people, from up above, from whatever you want to call it. But it's basically getting abstract thoughts in and using them in a creative way. And so it's called before completion or confusion in the original I Ching. And the way it's described is transition like birth requires a determined strength for the passage through. And so that's referring to the creativity, transitioning in a creative way. And in the Gene Keys, confusion is the shadow, imagination is the gift. That's where the creativity starts coming in, and illumination is the CD. So here Richard says in the graphic, absolute truth is collective. And in order for truth to be realized, all human beings must realize it. This Gene Key 63 is all about truth, and it's about getting to the truth, right? So we have doubts that lead us to the truth is basically his way of thinking about it. And in a way, it's, again, a circular process where everyone is doubting. When we're doubting, we're evolving. And when we're evolving, we'll have more questions. And so it's basically a circle that allows us to keep learning and getting more knowledge, getting more answers as a result, and then asking the questions again, right? So shadow is the doubt. The shadow here is doubt. The gift is inquiry, really looking, answering, asking the questions, and the CD is truth. It's like finding those answers, but you can't have those answers. Ironically, you can't have those answers unless you're asking the questions, right? So we're always trying to get to the truth, but without the doubt, we can't get to the truth. So while it's a shadow, it's really a something that we're going to use throughout our lives, whether we're in this shadow energy or not. Richard also says the human logical mind is simply not designed to be certain of anything other than paradox. So we're always looking for certainty. And when we have uncertainty, we try to make it. We try to make things certain. And that's when dogma comes up. That's when religions come up. That's when any idea or institutionalization, basically, of ideas becomes more certain for us, yes, but it also becomes more restricted, right? It's very hard once you've institutionalized the dogma and the rigid ideas and something into a bureaucratic way of thinking to then move into or to evolve from that, right? That's why we call it a bureaucracy, because nothing moves. It becomes the status quo. They hate to change anything, and it's not evolving, and so that's not good for anybody. He also says the higher your stage of awareness, the more possessed you become by this question mark inside you, because the more you have, the more knowledge you have of yourself, the more questions you have. I mean, I have more questions now that I know about human design than I ever had previously. The more things seemed certain, and they only seemed certain, right? When I was working in New York and had a job and took the bus or the train in every day and commuted and came home and made dinner and just, did my life the way I thought I was supposed to be doing it, everything was relatively certain. Everything was, had a rhythm to it. Everything had a pattern to it. It didn't change very much. And when it doesn't change, things get stagnant, right? And so the more aware we get, as I became more and more aware of what I wanted, how to do it, how to make changes, those things moved along also. And, and hopefully I'm evolving, right? Hopefully you're evolving too. At the shadow frequency, there's nothing but truth. At the gift frequency, there's nothing but truth. Truth is every step of the way. And so basically, the more we ask the questions, the more answers we'll get, and therefore we'll get to the truth. Ironically, this is kind of the age of no secrets. This is, I'm hearing this from a number of spiritual teachers, that we're moving into this age of no secrets, right? So things are coming out, things are becoming more apparent. We're getting more information than ever, right, about this invasion of Ukraine because of social media, because of everybody having an iPhone, everybody having a way to record what's going on and to show the different stories of all the people who are resisting the Russian invasion. And so there are not going to be a lot of secrets here. Even the run-up to the invasion was basically televised, right? Everybody knew that where Putin had his troops. And so there's really not a lot of, there aren't as many secrets. There are even more. There actually, seems as if there will be more and more secrets coming out, and that's the only way we'll get to the truth, right? So watch watch this station and other stations, because the truth will be coming out. So we've got a number of personalities born in the gate 63. As I said, this is a right angle cross of consciousness, juxtaposition cross of doubts, or the left angle cross of dominion. So if any of those are yours, then these are some other people who were born in the same in the same time frame during these 5 or 6 days. So people like John Bon Jovi, Joel Osteen, Eva Mendes, Alan Greenspan, who was the former Secretary of the Treasury many years ago, and Shaquille O'Neal, Rachel Weisz. These John Irving, the author, Dr. Seuss, another author of children's books, Mikhail Gorbachev, ironically. And so these are a lot of people who were born asking questions, right? These are people who were born to ask questions and perhaps question the establishment in whatever role they were playing. So this week in history, we've got in 1974, on March 2nd, a grand jury in Washington concluded that President Nixon was involved in the Watergate cover-up. In 1973, federal forces surrounded Wounded Knee in South Dakota, which was occupied by members of the militant American Indian movement who were holding hostages. And in 1965, the Sound of Music movie had its world premiere. Hard to believe that was a long time ago. On March 3rd in 1991, the Rodney King beating in Los Angeles occurred, and that led to a trial that lasted quite a long time. March 4th in 1987, President Reagan took full responsibility for the Iran-Contra affair in the national address. So I think you can see just from, so I think it's pretty obvious already that there were some secrets coming out, right? There's some questions being asked during this time period years ago, and both Presidents Nixon and Reagan had information that they had been keeping close to the vest that actually came out. In 1946, on March 5th, this was shortly after World War II ended, Winston Churchill delivered his Sinews of Peace speech at Westminster College in Missouri in the US, famously coining the term Iron Curtain to describe Soviet aggression. So ironically, that was just about 70 or so years ago this week. And on March 7th in 1979, Voyager 1 reached Jupiter in space. So I just wanted to throw out one more quote. The truth, they say, is the first casualty of war, more so at a time when misinformation spreads so rapidly. And that was from Yuval Noah Harari. So this week might have you looking at questions that need to be asked in your life. Why are we doing things this way? Why, what's in this for me? Why am I doing this? What else can I do? How can I help? What other things can I do if this isn't making me happy or fulfilled or content? It's a good week to ask those questions. It's a good week to ask those questions of other people as well. So it might be a week of questions. I hope it'll be a lot more open-minded for many people than it has been previously. And I hope that you're able to basically stay in control of what feels good for you, get the information you need, get the inspiration you need, and find a way to meld them all together so that you feel as if you're more in control than you are in fear. Because it doesn't help any of us, it doesn't help the world to be in fear. It helps the world if you're in control. It helps you if you're feeling as if you're in control and as if you have some say in the situation. A lot of people are feeling much more in control because the mask mandates are going away. So that doesn't have to be the only way that keeps you in control of your own sensibility and body and family and whatever is important to you. Allow yourself to be in control because you know which values are important to you and which are the ones that you're willing to stand up for. So have a great week, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Be well.